So today topic is on web services. So we are going to see what is web service and what are the different types of web services available, and then we'll see like how we can configure web services in Oracle Fusion Cloud using application composer, and then how we can use those web services in Groovy, and also we'll see the navigation or the usage of a Postman application for testing any REST endpoints. So yeah, as I said, this is the agenda. So we are just going to discuss about web services and the usage in Oracle Fusion Cloud, uh, and then Groovy, usage in Groovy, and then Postman usage. So first, the first is web services. So what are web services? So consider there are like two applications. So like uh, one customer is using one web application. So they have their uh, their own environment or web application, and then they are also using Oracle Sales Cloud. So whatever, like suppose they are submitting some order, so that order should be created in Sales Cloud also, or that lead should be created in Sales Cloud also. So the customer, as an end customer, like we don't need to log into the Sales Cloud application. So end customer will just open the company URL, and then they will submit a lead in their application, web application, and that whatever record they are creating in that web application, that should create the same should be created in Sales Cloud also automatically. So in this scenario, we can observe. So there are two applications. One is web service, web application, and another one is Sales Cloud application. So these are two different applications. So we need to connect these two applications, right? So the easiest way is like we can use this kind of web services, and we can connect using this web services. So the main use or the use of this web services is these are platform independent. So that means one application can be written in Java or some other language or some other language, and so we don't need to worry about the platform. So in which using which code they have written, so that and all we don't need to worry. So finally, that external application that will finally it will expose as a some kind of a call. So we will use that call and in our like Sales Cloud application, so that it can access easily, and it doesn't depend on technology also. So whatever it can be. So we have two types of web services. One is REST web service, and the another one is SOAP web service. So the like REST is representational state transfer, and SOAP is simple object access protocol. So in SOAP only we can see this WSDL, web service description language. So we will see in detail about this SOAP and REST in the next few slides. So before going to SOAP, I'll go to REST. So Yeah, as we saw, REST stands for representational state transfer. So in REST, we will have some kind of a endpoint. Okay, and like we can give some URL and then path, so that it can access the resources, and it supports these CRUD operations like get, post, put, delete, patch. So here get is nothing but like if you want to read some information, right? If you want to like read a particular lead information, then I can use get method. And post is for creating a record. It can be anything. It can be lead or whatever external application record. So whatever it is creating a new item. But in case of get, we are getting the existing item information. So put is also a kind of a uh, create uh, and then delete. So it is used for deleting a record or deleting an item. So there is one more method, patch. So that is for updating existing record information. Uh, so yeah, before going to the next slide, I just want to uh, show how the URL or it looks like. So yeah, yeah. If you see this example, web service example. So we have one web service, or we have one website, studenttonight.com. So in this, I'm storing some student information. So I want to get the information from this website of students. So how I can access using REST is something like this. So we will get an URL here and then the object. So which object we are accessing, and then the field, the filter. Like so, if I want to get only particular student information, I can give like this: student roll number, and then the value for that student roll number. So if I give this kind of a URL, then I'll get the information of the student having roll number 07. So if I give like this, the response I will get like this. The below you can see a response. So I'll get a name and phone number, and then class, address. If we have some additional fields, I'll get that also. So yeah, if we give input as this URL, and we'll get output as like this response. So this is how the REST will work. So here this service provider is nothing but uh, so service provider is like one kind of endpoint, and maybe we can consume at so in this case service provider is student tonight, and whatever response we got here, right, that can consume by some other service. So now we will go back to the SOAP web service. So SOAP is also a different another kind of a web service where we can access the external application information or another application information. But this is, it follows own security. Okay, and then it follows only in XML format. So we should give the input in XML format, and also we will get the response in XML format. So XML will see that format also. So yeah, we will give XML request over internet, and it will return XML response. Okay. So if you see, we are giving XML request and we are getting XML response. For in SOAP, like without giving like credential information, we can understand the like application like response. So without, no need of, if we know endpoint, we don't need to give the authentication, so we can get the like a field, what are the fields available in that, so all that we can get without uh, authentication. So the example for SOAP is the this side. So here also we can see right, one diagram. So the difference you can see here. So we will give some kind of a URL like this, and there will be some slight difference. That is, at the endpoint at the end will use some WSDL, so WSDL, and then we will give the input format like this. So this is called XML input. So we will give like tags. In HTML we have tags, right? So in that, like that, we will give like field name and like start tag and end tag, and in between we'll give the value. So this is how the XML format looks like, and we will give in XML input, we will give a XML input and we'll get XML response like this. So it just but we in REST we can give uh, like in many formats, but in in SOAP we can use only XML format. So that is about REST and SOAP services. So as I said, like the general REST URL will be like this. So here HTTP, and if it is a secured one, it will come HTTPS and then server address and then the path. So if it is students, we'll get student information like this, and then if it is staff, maybe we'll get staff information, or courses or something. So it will be like this, and this endpoint should be constructed by the, like, whoever is the source, right, source application. So from their end they should construct, they should create a REST endpoints, and then they can give it to the another resource, right, so they will consume. So if we want to update, we can use this patch request and for create post like that. So in our application, like this is the page where we can create a web service. So we will see this on later. And in Groovy also we will create the web service like this. We'll give endpoint URL and then authentication, and then we'll select the method get or put post patch delete, and then we can give like any sample data. Then we will call that web service here, and in Groovy we can pass the parameters like which fields need to be updated, which fields need to be created. So all which method, so all that we will define in the Groovy, and then we can update or we can create a record. So similarly, like whenever we can create records using Groovy, right? We can create or update or delete you in UI. In a similar way, we can call these web services, and then we can manipulate the data using this web services. So we can manipulate the Sales Cloud application data as well as the external application data also. So if you have access to the external application URL, so we can also manipulate that data using this web services. So in REST, we will yeah, these are the just 4 steps to create so these are the 4 steps to use Oracle REST API in Postman. That we will see now. So what are these Postman status codes? All that we'll see in our demo. So I'm stopping. Okay. So we saw like creation of like how we can update create a record in UI and updating a record, deleting a record, right? We saw everything, but in today's session we'll use this same object, and then we'll create a record and we'll update a record in REST using REST using this Postman application. So for that, we should get like first endpoints, right? So for getting the endpoints, we can go to this like link. So I'm going to this link. So if there is any if you want the latest documentation, we should use this release version here, 22b, 22a, 22c, something like that. So 22b is the latest version as of now. So I'm using 22b. So here, if you see, all the REST endpoints for CX sales and B2B services are listed. So like for standard objects, we can go to, like if you want to access account information, I can click on this and I can get the endpoint, right? So I can get the endpoint here, and for creating a record or deleting a record, getting all records, get a specific record, updating a specific record. So like this, we'll get endpoints. So these endpoints we should use in addition to the environment URL. So we have this URL, right? So in addition, so we should prefix this URL to this endpoint. Okay. So in our case, so if I have a if I'm using a standard object, I can use the URL specified here. Okay. And if I'm using the custom object, so for that also I have like, so we should search for a custom object. Where is custom object? Custom object also like it is similar way. Just we need to add in place of accounts, right? We need to put like custom object API name. So that is the only one change we need to do. So custom object. Okay. It somehow I couldn't find, but the the path is same until here. So only if you remember, if you see CRM RESTAPI and resources, and then this is the version of the release, and then the object name. So so first step one is I need to get the URL, right? So I'm copying this URL, okay, and in my REST I'm pasting it here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm copying this path till this version, and then I'm pasting it here. So there is one extra key, so I'm removing that. And then so my object name is mine is custom object, right? So my object name is event underscore c. Okay. So now my URL construction is over. So uh, then I need to use the like operation, whether it's a get operation or post or put, patch, delete. So I'm using that operation here, and then I need to authenticate it. Okay. So if there is no authentication, I can give no authentication, but I am giving authentication. So I gave username and password, and then I'm just hitting on the send button. Okay. So we have constructed the URL, and then we have given the authentication, and we are giving get operation. So this if we don't specify any like consider this is a student in place of event. If there is a student, so we are not giving roll number here. That means this event record ID we are not giving. So it will give by default all the records in the object. So it will give all the records here. So if you observe like whatever record we can see in the UI, it will come one by one. So we can see the ID, and we can see the record name, and then created by, creation date, last update date, last updated by. And if there are any like custom fields like source type, okay, and then owner, we can see expenses, event type, event name, event location. So whatever fields, even though we haven't exposed few in page layouts, here we can see all the fields uh, with the values, right? So we can see everything here, owner ID. We can also see the backend codes here, like for suppose in UI we will see only owner name, but if we want to get owner ID, so we can see here. And if we go for next record, like it will show that record information with the set of values. Okay. And now like suppose if I want to get a specific record, so what I can use is I can use this ID, and then I can put slash here, and then I can give ID here, and then I can click send. So I'll get information only for this particular record. If you see, previously we saw more than one record. Now we can see only one record, and below we can see count also. Okay, it's not showing. So but we got only this record because we have given the record ID here. So we'll get that record ID here. Okay. So this is the get operation. Then next is if I want to update something to the this record. I have one record. So for that record, I need to update a field. Suppose I'm updating event location. So I can use this particular record. Okay, and I'm updating for this record, and in the body, if you see here, body, so here we can give different types of data. So here I'm selecting a raw option, and then I'm giving in JSON format. So if you see here, we have different types of input. So I'm selecting JSON because this is JSON format. So I'm giving input also in this format. We can select different formats in output also, but I'm using JSON in the input as well as in the output. So I need to update the event location, right? So the JSON, in the JSON format, we should give the field and field names like this. We should give quotes for the field, and we should put colon, and then we should give the value here. So I'm updating this one. So now I'll just hit send. We'll see the response. Will it give any error or not? Okay. So it updated. So it updated the event location to Bangalore. And one more thing we need to note is in the header, uh, if something, if it gives any error, we should pass the content type. Okay. Content type we should give, and that content type should be application JSON. So because we are using JSON format, right? So we should choose this in headers if it throws any error. And ideal way is we should use this header content type application JSON for JSON type. So this is about updating a record, updating a specific record. Okay. Now, deleting a record. So we'll see deleting at the later. So one more is post. So post is used for creating new records, right? So here we don't need like existing ID. So I can remove this ID here. So all these things we can get from this like example URLs. So if you want to create a record, right? So here you can see the endpoint is, there is no need of ID. But if you want to get a specific record, you need to pass that particular ID here. Okay. So now uh, so for creating a record, the only one required field is record name. Okay. So I'll be passing only this, and if we want any like if we have any additional fields, we can use those additional fields, but I'm passing like only few fields. So record name is the like required field for creating a record. So I'll use this one. And we have also event type, right? So here we'll use orientation. Okay, so suppose so this is the correct correct value. Suppose if I give something wrong here, and then if I click send, it will throw an error, or it will give a response code 400 bad requests. So it means there is some bad request or some and it says whatever we are giving value for event type, that is not matching. So because this is a LOV, right? So we should give a specific value. We should give the exact value. If it is a text field, it can accept anything, but since this is a LOV field, right? So it has some list of configured values. So we should give those values only. So now I corrected that information, and then again I'll hit send. So now a new record will be created, and the status we can see 201 created. So a new record created. Okay. And then event type, event location is Bangalore, and event type is orientation, and record name is nothing but event name, and that is uh, creating record in Postman. And also uh, whatever you are seeing here, right? These are the API names. These are not the display names. Suppose you are seeing owner here, owner field. So this is the API name for, or API name or backend name for owner field. So now if I want to delete this particular record, I should use this particular record ID here in the parameters, and then I can choose the operation as delete, and then I need to click send. So this particular record will be deleted, and even if I query using get, it won't come. It will say 404 not found. It means the record just now we created is deleted because of this delete operation. Yeah. So if we see the use cases of this REST services or web services, so converting a prospect to account. So like since so there is one lead, and that is like while converting that lead to opportunity, so we also need to create an account, right, automatically. So we can use this kind of web services, or basically everything is we can do via web services, like managing uh, like object records. It means like creating lead record, creating account record, creating contact record, updating contact record, updating account record, updating a custom object record, deleting a custom object record. So we can use this web services for these kind of scenarios. Manage means here all operations. It can be read, edit, update, delete, everything. And then manage sales resource life cycle, like creating a resource, creating a user for sales, and similarly service, and then import data using REST APIs. So this means uh, the same way, like uh, we will submit import jobs, right? So we will create import activity, and then we'll upload file, and then we'll map, and then we'll submit. These all operations we can configure using REST APIs. So we will there will be endpoints for creating all this. So like so we can just upload file in Oracle Sales Cloud, or there is some setup. There is another way also, like we can take from local file, and then we can update. So the meaning, what I mean is like we can update, we can do the same jobs, import jobs using REST APIs also, without accessing the application. And to monitor those status, exporting, and then these are some identifying duplicates of accounts, contacts. Okay, so these are some use cases. Different status codes, like for 200 is for successful requests. Like if we create an if we create any new record, then 201 will be the one which says data, new data is created. And then 204 is for empty response. 400, like if we something, and if we miss anything, or if we enter something wrong, then it will give 400 error. Then if we use any like invalid credentials, then it can give 401 with unauthorized access. And if there is any uh, access denied by application, then it can give 403 error. 404, like suppose we just saw, right? So we tried to find a like a deleted record. So in that case, it can throw 404 data not found. And like if it internal server error 500. And if the specified method is not supported, then it will give 405. And if anything like related to service unavailable, then it can give 503. Okay, so we created all that operations, right? CRUD operations in Postman. The same like if you want to do in Groovy. So like if you go to application composer, we can see one section called web services in common setup. So there we can create a web service connection like this, where we will put URL and then authentication. Okay, and then the operation we need to do, all that will specify. And that registered web services uh, we can use like this. So what we are doing here is, see, so this error log ws will contain the url, the rest url, and then authentication content. So all that it will contain error log ws. So this error log ws is nothing but the like the it's kind of a variable name here, or web service name. So in place of invoice, just imagine this error log ws is the web service. And to that we are giving http headers. So in Postman also we saw, right, like while creating any record, we use this content type application JSON. So and then that we are inserting to this web service. Then what we are doing, uh, we are creating one map, and then in that map we are giving the field name and field value. So if you see, in Postman we are giving, right, field name and field value. In the same way we are giving here field name and field value into one map. And I'm calling this web service whatever here, and then I'm using post. So post means to create record, and I'm giving this set of values, right? And then using this map, it the web service will create a record in Oracle Fusion Cloud, and that record we can access using UI or again REST, so anywhere. So this is how we can create like a script in Groovy, and then we can call web service. So that is all about web services in Oracle Fusion Cloud. So now we are going to do like we are writing one script. So that will that can create a record using web service in Groovy. Okay. So I'm downloading this document. So where it can give some sample scripts how to use REST API in inside Sales Cloud using Groovy. So here you can see like sample script for creating a record. Like this can help like how to create web service also. Okay, how to create web service, and then how to call that web service in Groovy. So everything is explained in detail. So so our first step is to create a web service in in our instance. Okay, so I'll go to my website instance, and then here under common components, we can see web services section, right? So I'll click on that. So here we can click create. Okay, and then it will ask which type of web service. So we discuss it, right? REST or SOAP. So currently I'm going to use REST service. Okay, so I can give a like name here. I'll say create event. Okay, and then URL I need to give, right? So I'll paste my URL here, and then uh, I'll select authentication schema. That is currently I'm giving username and password, so I can select call with basic authentication. And then I need to choose the like, since there are no credential keys, so we need to register the username and password. So I'll say so I need to give the username and password here. I have given the credential details, and I selected that particular key. So then, suppose I'm going to create a record. I can select Postman, post request. If I have multiple requests, so I can select other one. Okay, and then uh, so for post request, I'm giving some sample as just I'll give like this. uh, I'm not going to define any schema, but if we have a exact response, right? So okay, it is better to use this response. So we are giving sample input as this. Okay, I'll define like this. So this is my sample input, and what is my sample output is this one. This is my sample output. So I have defined sample code for input and like response, and then I'll save my web service. So what I'm going to do is I'll copy this script. Okay. So this is a code for like creating opportunity uh, in Oracle Cloud using Groovy. So I'll paste this code. Okay. And for now, I'm removing unwanted lines, everything. I don't need all these print lines. So, so here I need to, uh, so um, also will copy the sample input and sample output, sample input. So, so this is our sample input. So this is our sample input, right? So we are using 3 fields, and in this case, we are just giving the one name, one opportunity name. So if you want to use multiple fields here, we can use here. So suppose my first field is, okay. So my first field is event location, and then the value I'm going to pass is Bangalore. And my next field I'll use comma, and then again I'll enter my another field name, colon, and the value that I'm going to pass. And if I'm using one more field, I can again use comma, and then map, and then the value. Okay. So now I have given the input. Okay. So this whatever map, right? So this map I'll give to my post request. And in between, like I'm defining the content type. So we can use this format. Okay, application vnd oracle adf dot resource item plus json, or we can also try application slash json. If that doesn't work, then we can use this one, or anything is fine. Then we are inserting this HTTP headers into our web service application. Okay. So this first line will give the like this post opportunity is there, right? So this is nothing but our like if you see our example, create event, right? We have defined one web service, and there we have defined the URL, everything. So we'll use that name here, and then we'll store it in one variable, and this variable contains all the URL, then the authentication, then the sample input, everything will be in this one. So to that I'm giving a map with the operation. It can be post or get, whatever, depends on the or defined in this web service. So if I use post, I can give the input map. So this code I can write in a trigger, like I can write in a one specific trigger. So maybe we can like whenever like opportunity is creating, so we can create this record. So like that we can write, we can use this script, and then we can trigger whenever a new opportunity is creating. So so one more record in the event object will create using this script. So that the event or trigger type we can use in opportunities like create event, right? So we can use before insert trigger. So there we can place this 4 or 5 lines code, so that event record will be created in event object whenever opportunity is creating.